Somebody else who's joined. Okay, welcome. We should be live, right?
Correct.
Okay, welcome. Today is March 6th, 2024, and I will call to order this second public listening session by the county's Charter Review Commission for 2024. We had our first session this afternoon in the main council hearing room. I will start by introducing myself. I'm Jim Michaels. I am chair of the commission. We have 9 other members, some of which are here tonight. I can't see everybody on the screen, so I'm not going to take a roll or anything, but I will let you know for the record who our other commissioners are. We have Sherry Brett Majors. We have former council member Howard Dennis with us. Our other members are CC Grant, Marvin Lynch, David Knoxheim, Jeffrey Naftal, Michael Persh, Dylan Pressman, and Marcella Samuels. I've seen we have a few people who joined to watch. We had an opportunity for folks to register in advance if they wanted to speak. We did not have folks register in advance. I am told that at least one of our attendees this evening would like to speak, even though she did not register, so we will allow that. I see we have another attendee. If she would like to speak, she needs to raise her hand now, and we will identify her. Not seeing that. Okay, I assume we have currently one speaker. If anybody joins the Zoom in session, staff will let me know, and we will ask them if they joined for the purpose of speaking. I do want to thank staff. We have a couple of staff members here from the council who have taken time after hours, after their normal workday, to help us set this Zoom up and host it, and I do appreciate that. Just a real brief introduction for folks who may be watching. This will be recorded and available online, so we may have folks who are watching after the fact. And so I do think it's worth just making a few introductory remarks so that folks understand what this commission is about, and there will be other opportunities in the future that we hope they will take advantage of and be encouraged to do so. The Charter Review Commission was established in Section 509 of the county charter. It is an advisory body. Its job is to study the county charter, consider recommendations for possible amendments. It's reconstituted every 4 years with 11 members. The current members were appointed in July 2023, and we had our first meeting in September of 2023. We're required to file 2 reports by May 1st of each of the even-numbered years, which means our first report is due May 1st of 2024, which is roughly about 7.5 months after our first meeting. That is not a lot of time to study issues and hear from the public. What we did was we chose topics early, and we discussed a number of topics, and we chose topics in October and November that we thought we could competently study in the intervening 7 months. They would give us time to think about them thoughtfully and complete them in time for our first report in May. So those are 3 topics that we have put on the agenda for today to discuss. We are trying to focus on those 3 topics. After May 1st, we will start all over again with all new topics, and then we will actually be asking the public to have input on what they think those topics might be. And so for that purpose, we plan to have public hearings, public listening sessions, probably be between Labor Day and Thanksgiving. And we plan to hold them in all 5 of our regional service areas in the county so that all parts of the county have an opportunity to participate. They will be live and virtual at the same time to give people multiple ways of participating. And we encourage people to come out to those sessions or join us by Zoom to give us their thoughts and ideas, because the ideas we receive next fall will be the ones we go ahead and study through most of 2025, leading up to our second report. All right, the 3 topics that we asked folks to address at this listening session, very briefly. One deals with the office of the council president and whether or not voters believe it would make more sense to have a charter that elects a council president directly rather than have it appointed by the other council members as we do today. Currently, the council has an operating rule that calls for the appointment of a president every year, and it changes up every year. There are two things we're considering: whether or not the voters might elect the council president directly for a 4-year term, or whether or not perhaps the council should consider having a presidency that lasts longer than 1 year, lasts for 2 years, even if it is not directly elected by the voters. That's the first topic. Second topic is a proposal that would amend Section 305 of the Charter, which is a section that deals with a number of it's the budgetary process, and there are several requirements in it. But the three requirements have one thing in common, which is they all require a supermajority of the council to act, but they require different supermajorities. One supermajority requires 7 votes, one requires 8 votes, and one requires a unanimous council. And there's been a proposal put on the table that suggests that Section 305 should be amended so it is the same supermajority throughout that section. And that supermajority proposal would be for a 2/3 vote, which would be 8 of the 11 council members. The one supermajority requirement in 305 that gets the most attention is the one that requires the unanimous vote, because at the time it was put in place, we had a council member, we had 9 council members. We now have a council that's 11. So the unanimous vote requirement has actually been increased to 11 unanimous members, which seems like something that is not always likely to happen. The third proposal involves Section 215 of the Charter, which is the one that calls for the county executive to make appointments to non-merit positions. These are positions that are not in the competitive service, but they are non-merit positions. About 23 of those positions are positions of the department heads and agency heads, or heads of principal offices. The other 36 or so are non-merit positions that are below that level. Currently, all of those non-merit appointments require confirmation by the council, and the proposal on the table is whether or not the 36 positions that are below department head and below agency head level should be allowed to be appointed by the county executive without the need for council confirmation. For those who are speaking tonight and for those who are not, we are also taking written submissions. We have a email box that is posted on our website. It was also in the press release. Anybody who wants to extend their remarks tonight can do so by submitting written comments, and anybody who has not testified here this evening, who is more comfortable submitting written comments, may do so through that email box as well. And we encourage that. Okay. At this point, I am going to call on the one person who's identified himself as wishing to speak. I will ask that you make an effort to stay on topic for the 3 things that we're here to discuss tonight. Give us your name first, then tell us which geographic area of Montgomery County you are from, and tell us whether or not you also have brought a written copy of your remarks to include in the record, and we will take care of that as well. And I will call now on Esther Wells.
Yes, thank you so much, Chair. And so again, my name is Esther Wells, and I live in Up County in Gaithersburg. And I do not have written comments with me today, but I did want to provide commentary regarding the 3 items that we are discussing. So for the first item, my recommendation is to leave it alone, to vote no on Section 108 changes of the Charter. Currently, I find it to be very refreshing to have new leadership every year, and that each geographic location, the districts and or at-large members that represent those areas have that leader within the leadership team between the VP and the president. So I think for that one, it works well, and so leave it alone. For the second item, whether to amend Section 305 of the Charter, specifically the 3rd bullet point, if the council decides the property tax rate should be increased. I also agree that it should be unanimous approval. Increasing taxes on residents and constituents, I think it's really important for everyone to be comfortable and be able to communicate with their constituents about why it is needed. And so I do think that additional layer of responsibility and diligence is needed. So I say leave alone at unanimous, because that is hard on residents when we continue to raise property taxes. And we already have that loophole at the state level, which was utilized last fiscal year to increase property taxes, and we saw what that resulted in. So I say leave the charter alone with unanimous there. And then for the third item, whether to amend section 215 of the charter to allow for the county executive to fill non-merit positions. Again, I say no. I think the more eyeballs that we're able to have on candidates that are being put forward to serve the community is important. We see right now with the news from today about some positions where nominations were made, and then upon further due diligence that it probably wasn't the best fit, that this process as it is right now is working, and it will ensure that constituents have the most qualified and the best candidates representing us and working for us. And so those are my votes. Thank you so much for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Can I note that during your time speaking, my screen froze up a couple of times. I don't know if that's just my screen or whether that's what, did it appear that way to staff as well?
No, we got the whole thing clear.
You got the whole thing. Okay, as long as the entire thing was recorded, I'm satisfied. I'll blame it on my internet provider, who I will remain nameless at this moment, but thank you very much, Esther, for your time, and we appreciate hearing from you. Do we have anybody else on the screen? I see a couple of names. I'm going to give anybody a chance to unmute themselves and identify themselves if someone wants to speak. Okay, that being the case, I thank everybody for attending. It is now about 7:15. If we don't have anybody else here, I will close this meeting and end this session, and I appreciate it. I hope everybody has a good rest of the evening.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.